Welcome to Tony's online tuning class. Our hope is to help you make positive changes in your life with these recordings by providing you with guided messages from Spirit. This tuning class will give you the means to enhance your energy through the use of tuning forks, crystals, meditation, and distance healing. These energy-driven classes do not alter or shift your energies, but to help you release outdated thoughts and beliefs from your past to help you feel lighter. So sit back, relax, and enjoy your vibrational growth with us. It's a grounding energy. It's called the Earth Star. We're going to be connecting to it today. So it vibrates to beige earth tones, basically, like dark brown, black. Just a quick reminder that we're working on the Earth Star, which is an energy underneath our feet. 6 inches to a foot underneath our feet is an energy that roots us all. It's an energy that works outside of us, much like the soul star we talked with a couple of weeks ago, where that energy just outside above your head. This one's just below your feet by about 6 inches to a foot. And it is that earthy, rooted color that we want to be, let's say, well-rooted in something. In doing that, if you have a plant, some plant in the house, not a cactus, the reason we're not going with cactus is because they have been having not enough of something, not enough water. I'm going to show you just different ways of grounding. When people come to us, as a rule, they're saying, I feel depressed, I feel down, like I don't feel like I'm enough, or there's a number of things, and somewhere in there they'll say, I don't feel grounded. And so we want to look into that, really what that means. When a person isn't grounded, they don't have connection to the earth. Plain and simple. Not having connection to that earth, when we feel grounded, even though the tasks are the same, everything is the same, we feel that we can handle it more. Our tolerance level is higher. If you've got kids and you've got a business or you've got many other things going on, we're spinning many plates at the same time. All of us, regardless what age. Even when your kids are out and they're doing in university, you're still concerned about them. You still want them to do well. So there's still a lot of that concern and a lot of that energy out there. So we want to be able to make sure that we are always grounded. Easiest and the basic is to take your shoes off and walk on the grass. Walk on the ground. The best is, of course, walking on the beach, because you're not only on the sand, you're in water. And water is the best conductor. Ask any lightning bolt. When we have that connection to the earth, we have that connection to water, we just feel like all our troubles are gone, but nothing has really changed. When you come back after a vacation, you still have the same issues, but it doesn't seem like it's a big deal anymore. And that's why, because you are grounded and you have that refreshing, non-static feeling. And that's why it's so important to get grounded. This is what the Earth Star does. It is your roots. Those of you that know anything about trees, oak trees, willows are a big one. They have one of the most intricate root system I've ever seen. Especially the willow. There's actually various contractors that are promoting that if you're going to put up a willow in your home, make sure that it's X amount of feet. I think it's like 20 feet or 30 feet or even more away from your home. Because those roots, they get right into your foundation and they actually cause a lot of damage. That's how much that tree wants to live. The more roots that there are, the more water and nutrients that the tree can get, because both oaks and willows, they're big trees and they need a lot of support. They need a lot of water. And when it rains, it just has that ability to gather it up. But there is that root system. In our system, that's our Earth Star, is that how much are you rooted? I've been with people that have 250 plus relatives and they feel alone. So it isn't the amount of physical people that are in your family, really, when it comes down to it, that you feel like you belong in that family or anything, is how much do you feel that you're rooted in that family? It's always about that. When it comes down to a certain family that celebrates everybody's birthday, they'll even celebrate the date that they bought a sofa. They'll celebrate any excuse, I guess, to have a party. But when a large family gets together and everybody's one big family, it would easily be detected as, oh, well, they feel really rooted because it's a big family. And it isn't that way. It just so happens that it takes a lot of work to do that. Small families that do the same amount of intensity, the same amount of work, will still feel rooted. So it's really important that you celebrate your kids, celebrate all these things, and make everyone feel like they belong, regardless how big the family is. And then it just seems to transcend, and everything seems to just get much easier. They know that they could reach out and ask for advice, and most times they're not asking for really resources all the time. I mean, sometimes they just need someone to talk to. They just need they might have an idea about something and they want to bounce it off of somebody that won't judge them or say that it's a dumb idea. That is the idea about that root star. It is one of the few chakras that actually vibrate to black as well. Black is like that black earth, that topsoil that you would get. It's full of nutrients. So when you wear something that's black and your idea is you want to ground, that's the only color that it will help you in. If any other chakra within your system will make it off, because black is always like a negative item. This is outside of your body, don't forget. And we can't put black above our heads because it's such a high vibration, black won't survive. Some crystals that you could use is black tourmaline, that's a big one. But there's a stone called jet that Spirit wants me to let you know about, because if you have children that have night terrors, like they get up and they're actually screaming, jet stone is one of the best for that. If you have that near their bed or in a pocket of their pajamas, it's done, it's gone. Nightmares are a certain vibration for children. And if they heard something or saw something on TV or something that was, just not so good, it might come up in a dream and then it will replicate into a nightmare of some kind. And so that stone really kind of disables that thought pattern to keep going. So it's a great one. I just thought you should know that one. Whenever we do a meditation and there are negative energies or there are things that come out of your body, that comes out of your feet that we usually have a reference to, it goes right into that earth star energy as well. And that's where it dissipates. That's where it gets rid of a lot of that stuff. If you have your feet up, then yes, it is in the room. But if you're walking in nature, for instance, you're walking in the woods and you have something on your mind that's really troubling you, there's a reason why by the time you get back, you have an answer, or it seems like, okay, it's not big of a deal, you have a strategy now, is because a lot of the energy that gets you that answers is right in the way. So as you're walking in the woods, now, understandably, if it's minus 30, it's not really that great to be walking barefoot in the woods. Got it. However, what you can do is even in your boots, as you're making every step, you're making the intention is, I'm connecting to the earth. Even though you're about 2 or 3 inches or however thick your soles of your boots are, when you make that intention, there's going to be a spark. So in other words, that energy will jump from the earth to your feet. If you look at a spark plug, that's exactly how a spark plug works. The electricity isn't directly on there, there's a gap. And actually you could measure that gap, and certain gaps are with certain vehicles. And more high performance vehicles, the closer the gap, that sort of thing. But there is a gap, and when there's a spark, the energy jumps. And same would happen when you're walking in the woods. Now, if you get 2 people walking in the woods, one is just walking for the sake of walking or exercise and has real no intention, and the other is making every conscious step, and they're saying, I'm connecting to the ground. One would be grounded, and the other one would not be. Because the one that has no intention is still insulated by those synthetic rubber boots. You're not connecting right to the ground. Even if you have no intention and your bare feet are on the ground, well, you're hardlined. Direct connection. But if you got boots on and you want it to jump, just make that intention. We're trying to make it so that we don't want to change your whole lifestyle around. Make it so that the lifestyle that you are doing, just change a few things in the way that you're doing it. And that way you'll be able to ground yourself and then have that real sense that you belong on this earth, that you have purpose and all of those things. That's one of the things that Suzanne and I get sometimes, is when people feel lost, they feel like don't really fit in, they don't really have a purpose, and it's usually because they're ungrounded. We look at their lifestyle and they're sleeping on a bed that's above the floor. As soon as they get out of bed, they put their feet into slippers, or they're on carpet for most of the time. And then some people will say, well, my bathroom is tiled. And it says that's true. However, if you look at the way tile is applied, they usually will, because of the tile, you don't want it to move, they'll have a layer underneath the tile of adhesive so it sticks. And that adhesive is, again, away from the connection of the home. The best is hardwood floor, not laminate. Laminate is a culmination of different byproducts of wood, and they glue it together with epoxy. Again, epoxy is not a conductor. Actual maple floor or oak floors, those are good because there's still water in that wood. It still came from a tree. And the way they install it is a nail goes right through the hardwood floor in the tongue and groove idea, and then it connects to the house. Of course, the best is if you're actually on the ground, but these are like the different levels of grounding that you have in your home. So put your feet in water. Have different ways that you're constantly grounding to the earth. And if you're on carpet, let's say you're in the office a lot, and all of us are. I mean, we're all busy. We're trying to get things going with our work. Many people are actually working at home. And yes, a lot of times we're hours and hours on the computer. And like I'm in my office, I have a carpeted floor, but I have grounding mats in various places. You can get this on Amazon. They're like anywhere from between $30 and $40. You can get sheets that go on your bed, and they actually plug into the outlet, not the power, but the grounding part of your home. On the outside of the home, there's a stake that goes beside the home, and it goes down about almost 10 feet. It's a stake, and there's a wire connected to that from your panel box. So when you plug into that ground wire, there's no EMF because there's no power. But it's the ground part that you're actually like sitting or lying on the beach in the Dominican. I wanted to put that in there because it's always fun. When you connect the mat, then you're sleeping on this mat, and it's connected to the ground, you'll feel, and it's like life-changing. For some people that have chronic health conditions, grounding is the fastest way to keep that optimal health going. The other thing is that as you got to watch also the type of crystals you have. I'm being told that if you wear a lot of amethyst, that's a purple stone, or fluorite, or I know people have diamonds on their earrings and things like that. These are high vibrational stones. They were made by pressure. And if you have a lot of those, but you're not grounded, what happens is that those energies actually pull you away from the earth, so you're actually more ungrounded than before. Right? Because it's a higher vibration, so it's pulling you up, and you have more and more of a gap. So you do need to have something in your system to sort of bring you back down to earth, sort of thing. They're saying, come back to earth. Well, that's exactly what it is. When we look at the earth for what it is, and you're well grounded, you can always tell. Somebody who's well grounded always feels like they're part of something. They always feel like they don't have to ask other people's advice for things. If they ask, it's out of courtesy. But they don't need it. Someone who is not grounded, they're constantly asking, what do you think about this or that? Because I'm really unsure. They have no respect for the environment. Those are the people that they're okay just throwing garbage on the side of the street, on the road. Like, they don't really care about the environment. They don't care about other people. They just are into themselves. And that's not even true because they're not even into themselves. They're just in this nebulous energy that of non-caring. As soon as you connect to the earth tells you, and it's just like another respectful person, and you start to treat the earth a little differently as with other people. In this meditation with the potted plant, what I want you to do is at one point, I want you to put your hand on the leaf of this plant and then just run your fingers down the stem of the plant to the earth. And then start talking to it, connect to it. You're probably saying, Tony, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. When you connect to plants that way, this plant is the same plant as in any of the forest. The vibration of communication is absolutely identical. A cup of ocean is the same as the entire ocean. It's just in a smaller quantity, but the language is the same. So a plant, any plant, even if it's a green onion that you have or a basil that you have growing in your home, that has the same vibration of growth, understanding, communication. And look at how long those plants have been around. A lot longer than man has, let's put it that way. There's been plants on this earth millions of years before we got here. So that language has long been established, and it's all the same. And when we get out of touch of that language, we don't feel like we're on, because really, scientists can tell you that we are only 3% difference from a plant to a rock from us. There's only one or two different things in our DNA that is different, and it would be something else. We would be a plant if it wasn't for these last few strains. So that's what actually makes us. So most of us is plant-based. Most of us is crystal or rock-based. Most of us is earth-based and water-based and so on. Almost 90% of your body is water anyway, and that's what plants live on. So as you're touching this plant, this is kind of you. How is that plant doing? Ask it, because it tries to help you. If it's not doing very well, don't change it. Bring it back to life. Like in other words, talk to this plant as if it's you. How are you doing? How can I help? What can I do to be a better person? Whatever it is. But start asking some questions that you may have for yourself about just how do I ground? How do I be like you? A plant doesn't need to be in the ground to survive because it's in a pot, obviously, and it's living. It gets water, it gets light. It's the same as us. We don't have to be actually on the ground to do it. We replicate the soil, yes, but you have this earth star that can go through many levels of flooring. I had this one lady a while back. She was in an apartment on the 3rd floor, and she says, Tony, I have no opportunity to get to the basement to do this grounding. So we did a meditation basically, and in her vision, she was holding a plant, and I had the soles of her feet grow roots right through the people underneath her, right through into the sub-basement of the building and down about, let's say, 500 yards. And then have her bring that energy in. And she felt something within 2 minutes. So it still works energetically. It just takes practice to sort of get used to that. From a business perspective, this is great because whenever you're looking for different ideas, different concepts, different ways to run your business, different ways to work your family, when you start connecting to that from the most basic level, as these are your roots, you'll start getting answers. And when you start getting answers naturally yourself, I mean, I'm happy to do it for you, but I'm always there to make sure that you can do this. You can connect and connect to these things in such a way that it will blow your mind, the answers that you'll give and how calm you're going to be in the midst of chaos. Because we can't change the world. The planet cannot change the humans that are on top of it. It can do it slowly, but if people still want to be the way they're being, angry, corrupt, whatever they want to be, the world can't change that. The planet can't change that. All it can do is just offer energy to those that are asking. And all we need is just a handful of those people that are asking, and it raises the vibration of the whole planet. Now, what this means for you is that from this day, everything you do when you're walking somewhere, make the intention that I'm walking and I'm grounded, I'm well rooted, and those that feel that way, you'll see it a mile away how different those people are to ones that really don't have any intention about anything. They're not interested in anything. They used to do all kinds of sports in high school, and then they went to college, and then they did other sports, and then they got into golf and a whole bunch. And all of a sudden, when they reach 30, 32, somewhere in there, they start letting go a lot of the things they love doing. The golf, not so much, maybe once a year, where they used to do it almost every weekend. Why are we letting go of these things we used to love to do? It's not always because we don't have the time, because people that are busy are still doing those things. They make time. Why are some of those people letting those things go? Because you're starting to lose that grounding, and so the passion of doing anything, period, isn't there. Have that plant close to you. I want you to take a nice deep breath. And I want you to ask it a question. Ask it something simple to start with, until you start getting some answers. Now, those that are visual will actually see different things. You'll actually, when you ask a question, you'll see a little movie. Those that are tactile, like touchy-feely, you'll feel cold, or you'll feel hot, or you'll feel sad, or you'll feel angry, or whatever. And when you feel that, you're sort of empathic is what we call it, but you and the plant are feeling the same thing. If you hear something, it might be more auditory. So whatever your gift is, if you're in the music business, definitely your auditory are very, very sensitive, and your auditory and your feelings are your heart and your auditory are very close. So your throat and your heart are very close together. So you'll feel, but you could actually hear something too. And so keep building on that.